This is HIMYM Superfans. Hey there, Chris.
Hey, James.
Hello, Mother fans. This is a show where we talk about the CBS comedy How I Met Your Mother.
We are going to ruin this show for you.
By ruin it, of course, we mean we're going to spoil the plot points for the entire series. We're busy getting ready to premiere our podcast in January. In the meantime, we thought we'd dig into our archives and show you some of our early test episodes.
The sound quality might be a little off, and there's possibly a part where my nose whistles.
And a dog barking.
We've come a long way, I would say. And we made this. In the meantime, while you're waiting for our premiere episode, we hope you enjoy this.
Today we're watching Robots vs. Wrestlers. Fun episode from Season 5. It's episode 22, so late in the season. And it's a May 2010 episode.
It's our most important tradition as a group.
That's right. Written by Jamie Ronheimer, who's done 10 episodes between seasons 2 and 7, including Lucky Penny, one of my favorites, and Slapsgiving 2, Revenge of the Slap.
Revenge of the Slap, yes.
Now, there's something very special about this episode, Chris. Did you notice it?
You'll have to tell me what it is, and then I'll tell you if I noticed it.
This episode is directed by Rob Greenberg.
Nope.
Who the heck is Rob Greenberg?
Nope.
Because fans know Pam Fryman does most of them, right?
I was told that she did every single one of them, so it sounds like you're trying to pull my leg here.
She sometimes gives it up. Neil Patrick Harris directed an episode.
Oh, okay.
And,
that's cool.
Rob Greenberg, he has directed 7 episodes of the series. And when he's not directing, he's credited as a consulting producer or some other sort of producer. So he's around the show all the time, I assume.
That is brand new information.
Yeah.
I would have sworn it was Pam Fryman 100% of the time.
Yeah, well, surprise, surprise.
That's right.
So, you got anything for the only episode? That's my only episode, even though it's only one of 7 episodes.
I have the only episode with Marissa Heller, or any mention of her.
That's right, yeah. The actress, I have a little note on her. She can also be seen on Scandal, currently, or if you watched a short-lived show called Jericho. And also this little show called Mad Men. She was on that one.
Yeah, nobody's ever heard of that show.
Yeah. So first use of the robots, obviously, and it's becomes one of their most important traditions, but one that they kind of do cheat on a little bit.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. Let's see, continuity. Well, actually, I guess that was my next point. Ted mentions that through the years they drift apart, but every year they all get together for Robots versus Wrestlers. But in the series finale, Robin does not join them. It is not true that they always make it to Robot versus Wrestlers. Yeah.
After a while, the tradition does fall off. As far as the special effects in this episode, I mean, definitely the robots, even though they're sort of they don't really show. It's not like Pacific Rim. It's not an action series.
Right.
I mean, that's the most exciting special effects stunt work type thing that they did was throw these big hunks of metal at actual people.
Right. And there's a scene, I don't remember which wrestler it is. It might even be Ted's doppelganger. Spoiler alert. Oh,
yeah.
That like somebody does an elbow drop on one of the robots, and then somebody, I'm guessing who was laying on the floor, like tosses a bunch of nuts and bolts in the air, like the person smashed the robot. So
right, yeah.
Just off camera, funny thing there. So I ruined my own thing where I was going to say that another doppelganger appears in this episode, and make sure pay attention for that. But it's Ted. So I've already said
it's Ted. Yeah, I kind of, if you're going to, last time you asked me what was the most memorable part, to me, I kind of like, I don't know if I call it the most memorable part, because the most memorable part would definitely be the Van Smoot party.
Mm-hmm.
But I also really like that the group immediately falls in love with Robots versus Wrestlers and immediately holds it as a sacred tradition, despite immediately, just finding out about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Lily with the slapback commissioner. As soon as she heard about it, she immediately was willing to give it all the integrity that it needed.
Yeah, I didn't make that connection, but it does fall into something that you notice about the show, is that the characters are often, I don't know, they look at the world with like a sense of like wonder and I don't know, just like
it's definitely a willingness to believe in something.
Yeah, and like Robots versus Wrestlers, like we've never heard of it, but we have to do it. It sounds great. It's our new tradition. We're going to do it every year. Yeah, the slapback commissioner. I don't know what that is, but I want to do it. I take it very seriously.
Yeah.
Just all sorts of things where they get excited about life, and I think that's the best way to do life.
Absolutely. So, Chris, what else is memorable about this episode for you?
I actually also said the Van Smoot party, because it does overshadow the Robots versus Wrestlers a little bit.
Yeah.
But my most memorable moment in the whole episode, if I had to pick out one, would be Barney hitting the gong. Because it was really fun to watch NPH take a leaping swing at it. He goes bananas on it, and it's funny after they've already been scolded and told not to hit the gong.
Yeah.
It's just another very, very funny Neil Patrick Harris moment. If
Absolutely.
It was if I got a second one, it would be the Willem Dafoe thing that Marshall does.
Oh, that is cute. I find myself doing that occasionally. Willem Dafoe! Willem Dafoe!
I don't even have to see the episode, and sometimes that'll get stuck in my head. I'm like, where did you come from, Willem Dafoe? And why are you a frog and a parrot?
If you see an ad for the first Spider-Man movie, you're thinking, Willem Dafoe!
Green Goblin. That's right. Gobbo himself. I got for geography, I've got the Alberta building, which I'm just going to go ahead and say it now. I'm guessing not a real building. I bet it's not. I bet it's like the Arcadian and their Scotch whiskey and.
It is not a real building, but according to some guy on the internet, it is based on a building called the Dakota, which was built in 1880 in Upper West Side of Manhattan. You want to guess how much an apartment would cost you if you wanted to buy one?
I'm not good at these things because I am poor. But
I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
It's start with millions of dollars.
How about 10?
10 will get you one. Let's see. It's prices range from $4 to $30 million.
Wow.
Also, it was this particular building. If it's the same as what the Alberta is, it's supposed to be the Dakota. Then it's the same building that John Lennon lived in when he lived in Manhattan.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to just get my Mega Millions ticket, because that's the only way I'm going to ever be able to afford an apartment at the Dakota.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Mega Millions. Somebody has to win. Might as well be me.
So, did you have anything else, or did you want to get into the episode?
I do have something else. We were talking in the last episode that we did about like themes that go throughout the episode, and you're really good at picking up the themes, and I like that, and I feel like I'm usually good at picking up on the emotion in the episode, but there wasn't a whole lot, so I went with this. The show seems to use Robots versus Wrestlers when the group is going through big changes. In this episode, Robin is taking a break from the group, and Ted doesn't make it to the first annual Robots versus Wrestlers. Marshall and Lily are discussing kids, and Barney is having a strong negative reaction to the group changing. In the Season 8 episode, The Time Travelers, Ted has a rough night alone at the bar where he imagines the gang having tickets to Robots versus Wrestlers because everyone is too busy to hang out with him in real life.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was particularly depressing.
It was. I'm glad I didn't suggest doing that one tonight. Lots of feels there. In the finale, Robin is gone again during their annual Robots vs. Wrestlers event. Barney has gotten a woman pregnant, which there's another baby theme in the Robots vs. Wrestlers series. It's like the show uses Robots vs. Wrestlers as a symbol of the gang's desire for everything to stay the same to highlight just how much things are going to change.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if it's not Robots versus Wrestlers, it's something else that was your tradition in your group, and as the years go on, it's not a tradition anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
We have a similar thing in our group. We used to cook dinner at someone's house once a week, and then it went to someone else's house, and then became a little less often, and then we just stopped doing it.
It's true. And, I mean, it's sad, but it is also the way that life works, and this episode is a good episode about change and holding on to the past, but, watching it as an outside observer, you get to realize that life changes for these people, and they're just going to have to deal with it.
Yeah. And I think there was definitely some babies in our group as well that, led to some changes. So definitely relatable scenarios here.
Yeah, the show is basically real life.
Hey folks, James here breaking in. Back when we first started this, we had a commentary track that we expect you to sync up with your Netflix or DVD. And since we had a lot of our fans say that they weren't really ready to do that, we decided to cut that out. And what you'll hear next is our post-commentary discussion.
Well, that's Robots versus Wrestlers. But yeah, you remembered it. So, what was everybody up to this episode?
Well, I mean, Ted clearly, he wants to find something new in his life. He's with the group all the time, and he has these other interests the group doesn't share, and there's suddenly this opportunity for him to experiment in, what he keeps calling, high-mindedness, right?
Yeah. Yep,
and
high-minded.
So clearly Ted's involved mostly with that in this episode, and, Lily, Marshall, Barney were just along for jokes, and Robin really wasn't in the episode very much at all.
That's true, and I wonder if she had something, the actress, Kobe, had something going on that day, where she's like, well, I'm going to have to phone it in, you guys.
When she was filming Avengers that week or something.
Could have been, yeah. I mean, we'd have to go back and look at the dates on it, but that easily could have been what it was. But yeah, she's in that one scene where she's talking to Lily on the phone while she's on air, and then at the very end of the episode, she comes in and farts. And makes fart noise with her mouth, and they pretty much mute it and do the Ted voiceover and pan backwards and then cut. So yeah, she's in less than I think 30 seconds of the episode. But yeah, it is funny. It's a very Ted episode, but Ted episode where he's not a sad sack and he's not trying to find the one. He's not just getting out of a relationship. He's not just had his heart stomped on. He's doing good, and he's just having fun and trying something new.
Yeah, absolutely.
We get to watch him do his douchey poetry from his Renaissance fair. Yeah. I also did like that Marissa Heller said Renaissance. They were meant to be together. She could have been the mother.
Yeah. A couple of misleads there. I don't blame you for thinking she might be the mother, but definitely not developed enough in this episode to really make that a reasonable expectation going forward.
No, not after the episode, because he just cuts and runs, and she never shows up again. But,
never see her again.
Right. I was like, I don't know. Other than the fact that she's douchey and she's enough like Karen that she doesn't pass the front porch test for the rest of his friends, that it's probably not a good idea. And Tracy's much better for him anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's that. But talking about Ted and him trying new things, I think this is as good a time as any for Chris's life lessons from How I Met Your Mother. In this episode, Ted is excited about spending time with people at the Van Smoot party, where he can be high-minded, as he calls it. He enjoys it for a while, until even he thinks he sounds douchey. He's interrupted by a picture message of his own doppelganger, and he leaves the party. In life, it's good to branch out, to meet new people, and to have hobbies and interests outside of your core group of friends. While these are all admirable, if you're just trying to impress people you barely know, it won't make you happy, and you might miss out on seeing your own doppelganger. This has been another Chris's Life Lessons from How I Met Your Mother.
Thank you very much, Chris. Great advice in that. I just really enjoyed this episode for the time that Ted got to spend trying to express a different part of his personality.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I phoned in my life lessons as much as Kobe phoned in her performance in this episode. But yeah, that's the thing is I didn't want it to come out sounding like don't try new things, don't meet new people, don't do those things. That's actually not at all what I wanted to get at. Because actually I thought that was really awesome that he tried, that he put himself. He put himself out there. His own friends were rejecting him. I know he feels loved by them, and that's how they express their love. It's not the way that he wants. He would love them to be just as interested as he is, because who doesn't? Who doesn't love it when you share something with somebody else and they're like, I love that just as much as you do.
Yeah.
But he wanted to try and find people that also were into the same level of high-mindedness as him. But I think it ended up just being that he was trying to show off.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that he was like, he didn't really like these people, although some of them were like his heroes. He was just trying to impress them for his own ego.
Yeah. He definitely wanted to fit in with a crowd of people that he admired. Thinking about it as future Ted in the year 2030, it would be a very memorable night for Ted. I mean, you're talking about going into a very old building, very ornate, beautiful building, filled with artifacts. You're essentially with the New York elite at that point, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the one evening that he got to spend with millionaires and surrounded by antiques and gorgeous artwork and taste test wines and do all these other things that he probably, as a common man, really doesn't do very often.
Right, yeah, he wants to do all of those things, but he doesn't get opportunities because, as he said in other episodes, architects make, I think, aggressively middling money.
Yes.
Aggressively middling money.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he doesn't get to hang out with millionaires. He doesn't get to be a part of high society, and he doesn't get to do wine tastings and all that. And so he got to sort of, sneak into their world for a moment, but he realized he didn't really fit in.
I mean, yeah, he'll get a taste of that later when he's designing the GNB building, and people are heaping a lot of praise around him. But in this episode, it's memorable because it's sort of his first time, out of college, out of his early career, out of his first couple of failures, and now finally he's a grown-ass adult, and he gets into the hot party, and it's a memorable thing for him, I'm sure.
It is, but it's funny when you were describing that, all I was thinking was that he doesn't earn it like he does with the G&B building. Like here,
that's true.
Well,
Yeah.
He earns it more than Barney does because Barney tries to hit on Marissa and tanks, but he impresses Marissa with his knowledge of the architecture of the building, and so she invites him up to the party. But he didn't earn this. He didn't earn any of it.
I would suggest that he did earn it by not specifically preparing for this challenge, but just simply by opening himself up to these other areas that were his interests, and suddenly in this particular moment, his experience in those interests was beneficial.
Yeah, like the perfect storm. It finally pays off that he knows this about this building and this about this architect. Yeah, I'll give you that. But it definitely, when you're talking about like how much praise he gets after the G&B building, that was for being the youngest architect in New York to design a skyscraper, probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
That he deserves a little bit more praise for than getting into this party.
Yeah.
So that's how we feel about this episode. How do you feel about this episode? Did we miss anything? What do you think about my crazy theories? Did we get anything wrong? Let us know by emailing us at himymsuperfans@gmail.com. And if you want a little bit more, go ahead and find us on Facebook. We'll post some stuff on our HIMYM Superfans group page. We'll have some updates, some pictures, different types of fish, stuff like that.
There's fish.
That's it for this week, folks. You've been listening to How I Met Your Mother Superfans.
And James and I get so much out of discussing the episode. We really enjoy doing this, and we hope you enjoy it too.
We'll see you next week.
Oh no!
So yeah,
Not Edgar Allan Poe!
candlestick. It was Edgar Allan Poe's.